Okay. Point 14, public gallery questions. You may speak now.
Thank you. I appreciate the fact that you allowed me to ask this question. As a bit of a preamble, I'll introduce myself. I live right over here, a couple of streets over. My name is David Shaw. I paid taxes in town for 42.5 years so far. I've been involved in the community activity, involved in a few things. That's the preamble to my question. My question to council goes like this. We have valuable people here. Me as a taxpayer appreciate the valuable staff. And I'm talking about Miss Newsom. And I'm talking about Mr. Church here. And they were valuable people for input on the committee, and we appreciate that input. And that input was withdrawn from the committee, according to what I heard with Andy's presentation tonight. It was asked up there to be reinstated. My question to the council is the following. Why was that terminated?
Sharon?
I would like to ask council, did you establish the House and Dam Committee as a committee of council?
No.
Did you allocate a staff resource to that committee?
No.
I believe
That's very clear.
I believe that the staff has met with the committee. They have made themselves available.
Yes.
I myself have made myself available for your meetings. However, we do report to council, and the House and Dam Committee has not been given any authority by council.
Okay, well, I appreciate that from you, and I appreciate that from you, and I appreciate that from you. You had a request up there from the committee to reinstate that, whether it be a group of council, reinstatement of a committee of council, or however it goes. But that request was up there. And I, as a taxpayer, would hope that there be some sort of consideration in this matter from you in the future. And thank you for allowing me to ask that question and get that answer.
Phil?
I wasn't gonna, but I'm doing. I'm here as a citizen of North Huron. I'm not from the community, but I've lived here for over 50 years. Haven't paid taxes that long, but I can pay them. And I just wanted to encourage council to continue on with that capital management plan. That's probably the most important thing that you do, that you're doing right now. You're the only ones responsible for seeing the big picture of all of the infrastructure and programs and facilities that we have. And we need a strategy to look after them. And I, like lots of other groups in town, have community projects that I wish you'd support more. But I recognize that you can't support everybody to the level that they would like. So you're the ones that have been elected to, make the decisions that you think are in the well-being of the community based on the information you have. So I just encourage you to do that. And I recognize that some days it may feel like nobody's supporting you and everybody's mad at you. But at the end of the day, you're the ones that have to look at the big picture and are responsible for looking after the well-being of the municipality. So good luck in that, and I'll support you as much as I can and help in the community projects I'm on. But I think that capital management strategy is very important, and there's going to be lots of different groups wanting to have you support their project and pull that off. But I think it's important that your staff work on that and council work on that, and that when you finish it, express it to the public in terms of the dollars, just what the shortfall is in infrastructure. I don't think they recognize how big that shortfall is. So that's my only comment, and good luck.
You have no solution to that? No solution?
I'll continue to pay taxes.
I said you didn't always pay taxes.
I am now.
Danny?
Just back to the FOPOP media closure there. I realize this was a mitigating factor with the holidays, but is there typically a time you would have that request in by? Because I mean, making the decision 3 days before the closure is kind of, I mean, I certainly can't get it in the paper for Thursday and have people read it before the closure happens, because most people don't get their mail until midway through the day anyway. So I realize this is a kind of an odd situation, but normally would that request not come through sooner?
Normally, it should have been in probably 2 or 3 days earlier anyway, but because of the holiday weekend, it possibly threw things out that,
Right. When you say 3 or 4 days earlier, that would still have to come up at this council meeting though, right?
yes,
3 days before the closure.
3 or 4 days before, when they did, would have been much nicer for staff to be able to have included it so that it wasn't an emergency add-on.
But it would still be during this meeting, which is 3 days before the closure, which is not enough time to get that information out, correct?
The request did come over the holidays. I think it came just prior to New Year's or in between Christmas and New Year's.
Okay.
And they were trying to get it done last weekend. So we said we would bring it forward to council, that we couldn't get it done in that time frame. We would try to sneak it on the agenda because they wanted to get it done within a short time frame. But to my knowledge, I don't believe the county has a time limit on these types of requests, because road closures can typically be needed on short notice for various reasons. So in this case, it's obviously not an emergency situation, but we did, because of the time sensitivity of the request, ask to have the agenda amended and have it added.
Okay. Great group, by the way, FOPOP. Based in Huron, so it's all local.
Yes.
Anything? Steve?
The complaint form on the North Huron website, this is new, I assume. Is it anonymous?
No.
So if someone wants to be anonymous, they have to use the ombudsman then?
Are you saying, is it, are the complaints anonymous, or is the name of the
Can someone
complainant?
register a complaint without fear of reprisals from town hall, or can a town staff member file a complaint online without it being traced back to them?
Yes, it does require a signature. However, it does state on our website that we will not disclose the name of the complainant. So there, it is protected.
But you know who the complainant is, though.
We would, yes.
And for the reef, and Mr. Knott, I guess, about the Huron County tax increase, was it 7 fingers you were holding up there when he said yes?
I can't remember. I held up 2 different sets of fingers, so you can take your
I think
choice
there's a-
between which one you decide is correct.
10%.
And what was the reason for the withdrawal of support of Kelly Church and Pat Newsom for the house and dam project? A reason wasn't really given when it was asked before.
Basically, it was that they were making themselves available, but when they were not recognized as asking for that much staff support, the amount of time from the staff without council dedicating as they would for a committee of council.
But isn't repairing the dam and looking after the dam and road their town staff's job anyway? Specifically, Mr.
It is
Church's?
one of many, and it's, as Phil said, the capital priority allotment, that there seemed to be an extensive amount of time, and that it was taking staff members away from other projects that they were working on to meet some of those meetings. Trevor?
My comment too is that yes, it is
part of the staff and Kelly's job to maintain the infrastructure. However, Kelly does not have any authority on the budget that he's given. So if the fact is that we've given him nothing to repair the dam, then he can't repair the dam. So the fact is that this council and councils prior to this have some responsibility in that what we provided as a budget for him on that particular project. And that comes down to priorities. So I think that's no different than anything else. I think that it's going to be a priority-driven process, and we'll see where it shapes out.
I'd like to address that if I could also. I think it's a misstatement to say that the support of staff was withdrawn. Kelly has attended any and all meetings that have been asked of him by the committee, and I have also attended any and all meetings. I have asked Pat not to attend some of the meetings simply because it is a project that is under the umbrella of the Public Works Department. The dam structure is not a Recreation and Facilities Department responsibility, and therefore Pat was not required to be at those meetings. She attended some of the meetings during the absence of the CAO and was actually performing some secretarial duties for the committee, which when we did a review of the committee structure and the committees of council, we did determine that the House and Dam was not appointed as a committee of council. Therefore, there was not a staff resource allocated to them to be their secretary. So that work did stop doing their agendas and their minutes simply because council didn't authorize it. But, so I think it's a misstatement to say that staff support was withdrawn from the committee, because we have continued to attend any and all meetings that they've requested from us. Just not Pat to all of them, because it's not in her area of responsibility.
Thanks.
I just want to go back and address your question. Forget about the number of fingers. It has been reported in the paper that the draft county budget is 6.23% over last year. And that has been reported publicly in the newspaper.
Oh, thanks. Nothing too hard.
Laura?
I just wanted to extend my thanks to council and staff for their support and direction given through the zoning update process. It was a 7-month process, which is a fairly ambitious goal, so to have completed it within the timeline is good news for everyone, and I'm pretty happy with the outcome, so thank you.
Well, just on a personal note, thank you very much for having it so well done, reporting in a forthright, quick manner during the meeting, and being professional about that. Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments from the gallery? Go ahead.
Yes, could Pat be included in the upstream from the dam in the beaches and what have you that could be created if this would actually work out? That's what I'd like to ask. If she's on recreational, where do we stop the recreation at the edge of the dam?
I think
Just a question.
that, and I will give my opinion, is if it goes ahead, there's the possibility that along with parks, it could be part of hers job if it develops another feature for Riverside Park. But under the current situation, I think that going through the CAO and our Public Works Department is what our organizational chart at the current time is what we have to work through. That could change in the future.
So that's a definite maybe then?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. Not seeing any, in camera, with no in camera, do I have a mover for first and second reading of the confirmatory? Trevor and Brock. All in favor? Carried. And the confirmatory read a third and final time, signed of the reading clerk and engrossed in the bylaw book. Bill and Yolanda, all in favor? Carried. The next regular meeting of council will be Monday, January 18th, 2016, at 7 p.m. in North Huron Council Chambers here.
Adjourn.
Kevin and Jill, all in favor? Carried. We're done.